Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and we are back in the classic original Daily Motor Ypsilanti parking lot. We've got Nathan, as many of you who have been around DM for a while remember, and we've got Nathan's newest Fleet Edition, his semi-daily driver, a 2013 Ford F-150 FX4 with the 3.5 liter EcoBoost. But not only that, it has
311,000 miles on it,
yes.
which 20,000 of those I have put on myself, and I've had it for just over a year now.
Just over a year, put on over 20,000 miles, and only paid about $2,000.
$2,000 for it.
We're gonna talk about a little bit more here later on in the car. But for everything you know, this has not had major engine work to it. It has been a fairly stock 3.5 EcoBoost. So everybody in the comments who likes to talk about EcoBoost reliability issues, here you go. Here is a 13-year-old survivor at this point. Still got the 6-speed automatic transmission. And one of the reasons that Nathan kind of knew it was something worth paying attention to was the fact that the more he got looking at it, it's remarkably clean. And you start to realize, once you kind of look at a truck like this or any vehicle, that, okay, if it's this clean after this long, the original owner and any previous owners must have taken care of it well.
Two previous owners,
and both in Rust Belt states here, and yet look at this.
It's muddy, but...
It's muddy because you use it.
Yep.
But usually rockers are rusted out, underbody elements rusted out. Very, very remarkably clean. The only part that has any sort of visual issue is the front bumper, which is crazy rusted.
For some reason, Ford, even on their aluminum trucks, they still use steel for the front bumpers, and they cannot figure out how to get these not to rust. So I have painted this twice. It is re-rusted twice, and now even over here, there has been a hole that has formed right here. So I don't know what I'm going to do about it. Probably just, I might paint it if I have extra time on my hands, but...
Well, and also now that you've learned to trust the truck a little bit more after 20,000 miles, it could be worth getting a new bumper if it pops up, because the rest of the truck does look so good. It was the FX4 from 2013.
With the FX4 appearance package.
Okay.
Which, that gets you this black part on the hood, the black painted grille, which on the normal FX4s, it's like this type of color here, just plastic cladding. You get the black wheels, you also get the red accents, and the black along the side too.
And then on the inside, it gets you the red bits, right?
Yep, it gets you the black seats and the black trim around here with the red stitching and the Alcantara in the center.
I mean, it's still a cool looking interior here, even all these years along. Power adjust seats over here on the side. Now, did they have, was it like a Lariat FX4? It was FX4's own trim?
Yep, it was just the FX4.
It wasn't an off-road package like it is now. Okay. And also in the back, seeing a good amount of space, obviously, being the full crew cab. Nathan putting it to work. You said you got 4 tires in here, right?
I got 4 Continental. We got Continental TerrainContact HT Highway Terrain Plus.
Yeah, and we just put these on the truck here because you were in need of some rubber, and we went with these because while you do use your truck for clearly some muddy, dirty driving and everything, most of your driving is on the highway.
Yep.
And highway and city and just general on-road driving.
Yep.
Yep. So you wanted something that was going to be decently quiet, but capable enough to get you through Michigan winters without having to switch over to tires or anything like that, winter tires. And so we kind of went through the tires, and these Continental TerrainContact HTs, the highway terrains, are really not too far off of what you'd get from a new FX4 package truck, because tire technology has come so far now that you don't have to have some big, meaty, all-terrain tire just to be able to get through some mud and some dirt and some slush.
Exactly, and when I do need to, and clearly last week I needed to, because this is covered in mud on underside, I got it washed, but I have an electronically locking rear differential, and of course a limited slip diff, and 4-wheel drive.
Yeah.
So I can pretty much do most things that I would need to do with most tires, but these definitely do give me an extra advantage.
Right. And not only that, but I mean, you put on 20,000 miles here in just the first year of having the truck. So you clearly do a lot of driving. And these TerrainContacts have a 70,000 mile tread wear warranty, which is cool for two reasons. One, it means that if you wear these down more than they should be within 70,000 miles, Continental will partially reimburse you based on how much is left. But also it means that they should last 70,000 miles. And that's, you know, for somebody who puts on 20,000 miles in a year, that's great because you don't have to budget for tires every year. So big shout out to Continental for hooking us up with some rubber. We'll see how these are out on the road. Nathan says they've been pretty quiet, pretty compliant, even with these 20-inch wheels. So let's get on the road here soon and test them out. Let's take a quick look under the hood at the 300,000 mile 3.5 EcoBoost.
Now, as we look under the hood, the first thing you're going to notice is I do not run with an engine cover on any of my vehicles because these 3.5 EcoBoosts, the turbos pretty much deep fry the oil, and so anything I can do to help with that, you know, I'll do.
Okay.
The only things I've done to this is spark plugs. I've fastened down this hose clamp because I figured out it was leaking coolant. One issue it does have, which all EcoBoosts from this first gen, I should point out this is a first generation EcoBoost engine if anyone's wondering. These do not have the cam phaser issues, but they do have a vacuum pump issue behind the engine, which just leaks oil all over the turbo, and it will smoke on startup sometimes.
You said they pretty much all do it, right?
Yep, they all do it. And a lot of people think it's valve cover gaskets, but it is not. It is a vacuum pump. Not to say the valve covers can't leak, but it does throw people off.
Okay.
This does have a timing chain rattle. I don't think it's ever been done before, but
$2,000.
yeah. Well, no, more than that.
No, I mean you only paid $2,000.
I only paid $2,000 for this. One thing I did have to do, and this did throw me through a loop. One thing that we love about this is the fuse box is right up.
I've never seen a more convenient fuse box. Yeah.
The Car Wizard was talking about it also recently. It's right here. You can look at all of your fuses. It's all late. It's just so easy. Other cars, they put them in weird spots sometimes.
Yeah, and they're hard to open up sometimes.
This does have a number of different fuel pump control module issues that can all be different things. Mine was one of the weirdest and could be one of the most common. I don't know. One of the common things is, first of all, the fuse can blow. That's easy. But also the fuse can burn. It can cook the fuse, which in that case you have to reroute it to one of the fuses over here. That was not the case. I looked at all that. Pretty much what happened is Charlie broke it. No, I'm just kidding. He was driving it the first time he ever drove it, and the check engine light came on, and we're like, what the heck? But it ran fine, so I didn't think much of it. I checked the code with my scanner. It said unresponsive fuel pump control module. So I, within that same day, replaced the fuel pump control module. Didn't do anything.
Still had the code.
Yep, I checked the ground. I sanded the ground and made sure it had good contact and all that. I bought a Motorcraft fuel pump control module. That didn't do it. Finally, after scavenging the forums for any, relief, I figured out if you cut the tape back from the fuel pump control module wiring, the wires, what happens is they get water in there, they crack, they dry rot, crack over time, then water gets in there, and they corrode, they leak, they snap, they do whatever, and you just have to replace them. And that's what it was. And I was blown away. There are 4 different wires in there that were snapped. And so far, knock on wood, it's been fine ever since. You can tell if it's that issue, if it's not stalling, if it's not no starting.
It's just throwing the code.
Yeah, it's just throwing a code.
All right, well, let's get the hood closed. I'll get in the passenger seat. We'll check out the front a little bit, and we'll get Nathan behind the wheel. Okay, getting a little look around. We've got this cool black plastic, the classic Ford F-150 gauges. Let's start it up.
As we can see, started up, no check engine lights. That's always a relief on this. For $2,000, heated and cooled seats.
Wow. And a trailer brake controller.
Yeah, trailer brake controller.
Yeah. Nice physical controls. New manufacturers, take note. You got decent sized cup holders, I suppose. Lockable center console, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And large. And look at the inputs, the red, blue, or red, white, and yellow, where you could plug in like an old PlayStation into the screen. That's pretty funny. 2 USB ports. Nice. Yeah, let's go for a drive. So, what led to you getting this for $2,000? You'd think that you found it in some field or something like that.
Yep. So I was scrolling through Facebook Marketplace, as so many of these stories start.
Yep.
And I saw this, and it looked familiar. I was like, that looks like the Mercedes dealer up in Ann Arbor, and sure enough, it was. And they had it listed on there to try and get some more traffic. And I looked, and I was like, man, it was listed. They had it listed at $4,000, and I thought $4,000, like that's insane for one of these. And I didn't think much of it. Then finally, I was driving up by that way, and I thought, I gotta go look at this thing. I mean, $4,000 for one of these.
Sure.
And so I swung in there, went inside, asked them about it. Sales guy took me out to it. This Mercedes of Ann Arbor, they were so awesome about it. Just so chill.
Yeah, because you would think like Mercedes dealership, like screwing around with some dude coming to look at an old truck like this.
I know. No, the sales guy was awesome. He was so upfront and just like, yeah, it needs work. We don't really want to mess with it, but
it was just a trade-in. Right?
Yeah, it was a trade-in. It was an old guy who traded in on a Mercedes. That was my first clue that it was probably
a good sign.
Yeah, it was a good sign. I test drove it, and here's another common problem with these. The 4-wheel drive switch was failing, and so the electronic rear diff locker was stuck on. And what happened was I saw the smoke from the vacuum pump. I thought it's probably turbos. It just wasn't giving me much confidence. But the sales guy insisted. He said, "Hey, we have a 24-hour test drive policy. Just take it home for a night.
Really?
We don't care." And I was like, all right, fine. I don't have anything else going on. So I went inside, got the keys. And then in the description, it said it was stuttering as you drove. And I thought it was, engine related.
Sure.
No, it was this rear diff. It was stuck on.
Okay.
And the first thing I thought was, I'm not going to drive around like this. So I pulled into a cul-de-sac, and I just, for the heck of it, went on some forums and figured out if I just push on it like this, it went away, which told me it was just the switch, which is like $15 off Amazon. And I was like, okay. I drove it for a little bit, and I'm like, this thing is so nice. And I'm like, I've got the perfect, it's got a lot. Yeah, it's got a lot of issues. So I went in the next day. I drove it all night pretty much. Went in the next day, and I talked him down to like 2,200, I think it was. And I traded in my Toyota Sequoia, and I left the dealer with this nice F-150. And everyone I talked to, they're like, you stole this thing. Yeah. I mean, and I was assuming it was going to be a nightmare. 3.5 EcoBoost. I thought like this thing's going to be horrible. And amazingly, it hasn't. Like, I barely had to put any money into it. Just little things here and there, which is exactly how you want it to go. Yeah, it's been great.
I mean, you have 2,200, and you put 20,000 miles on it. I mean, your cost per mile already is so low. That's so cool. And the other aspect that some people know and some people don't quite know is once you get a truck like this, or any vehicle, car, truck, doesn't matter, it's like an adventure. It's like you bond with it.
I know. I feel like I'm one with the vehicle, like it has its own personality.
Right. Do you know how much it would have cost new, like what the sticker price is?
$53,000.
$53,000. So adjusted for inflation, that's probably like a $75,000.
Yeah, it's truck. Like somewhere in the 70s.
Yeah.
It's 2013, so yeah, I think I looked. It was like 71 or 75, something like that.
Okay.
This was the nicest FX4 you could get. It has absolutely every option available.
Yeah. I mean, you've got sunroof, you've got the ventilated seats, you've got navigation, you got the Sony sound system. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's no way the shocks are original, but it rides well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can probably hear the rattling door panels. That is every F-150 from this generation. I don't know why. Every single one I've either, just closed the door on, they all rattle like that.
Well, and some people who aren't from Michigan might not be able to tell, but we're going over some really rough roads right now. And a mixture of those Continental TerrainContacts and then also the shocks. It's taking up well. Oh, wow. This is actually closed off now.
Oh, yeah.
You can still pull in. We can just kind of swap right here.
Or should I go into the other spot?
It doesn't matter, I guess. That's such a bummer. Man, so many of the places that Brower and I used to use, you and I used to use and stuff, filming, getting taken away.
Yep. Chris abused it. He once he got off the leash after you left, it's just...
He lost it for us.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, this is our daily motor test loop.
Yeah.
This is the kind of the rougher section, also where we would do more acceleration type stuff.
Yeah. This is also where Alyssa and I may or may not have attended illegal drag racing night one night with our Tesla.
Allegedly.
In Mexico. These seats also are so comfortable. We just got out of the Ram 1500 for about 800 miles or so, and it was fine, but we both got into these seats, and we're like, oh. Even the passengers, so it's not like it's a matter of like where or something like that. Okay, yeah, it's amazing how good a shape this is in. It's 300,000 miles. Oh, you have the door proxy code, something I also love that Fords have. You've got 2-stage memory seats with lumbar adjustment as well.
Although the lumbar does not work on this particular one.
Oh.
Crappy Ford engineering. This seat is so comfortable. I rarely sit over here.
Yeah, no, this one definitely feels different, and the lumbar is jamming me in the back, which is fine. It's supportive, but having just gotten out of the Ram, it's a bummer that this is so much wasted space.
I know.
Huge shifter, bunch of plastic. This was a big open area in the Ram. A column shifter would have been awesome.
Yeah.
But
I saw you went for your column shifter.
It just feels natural on a truck like this. The leather on the steering wheel has worn really nicely. It's got this like just grippy, gritty, kind of smooth out feel. Oh, and it was the era of Fords that you click down the blinker and it comes back. It doesn't stay in place. The engine's still so quiet, It's refined.
Yeah.
Just kind of hums along. I'm actually surprised there aren't more rattles. Like you go over these bumps. This is a really rough road. I'm surprised this whole thing isn't rattling. You do smell the oil, which, I mean, you've talked about. It's like...
Yep. There's a fix for that, though. You know what it is?
Recirc?
Reese. And then you got your air conditioner. You'll smell a little bit because it gets built up in the vents, but yeah, you can turn it down.
Yeah, strong. Well up to highway speeds there. And we were talking when we were driving the Ram, such a cool gauge pod from back then too, real physical gauges that look cool. They say FX in the back. You got the 4 gauges up on top that give you the different, your transmission temp and fuel. Yeah. What other issues have you had?
I had the rear window that exploded on me recently. I was going up north. It was 4 degrees outside, freezing rain. I turned my defroster on, and after a little while, I heard what sounded like a gunshot. And after looking around for a second, I realized one of the rear window panes had shattered, which is another thing that is like bound to happen on pretty much any Ford from this era. Yeah. It's happened to my dad's Focus. It's happened to my mother's Edge. Yeah. And it's all over the internet. Luckily, I was able to get replaced through insurance, and Safelite did an awesome job. And now I've got a new power sliding glass mechanism back there.
Wow. Get it on the highway here. Listen to these TerrainContacts. With as much torque as this 3.5 makes, it's like 6. So you only need 6 gears. The 10 speed's unnecessary. It's It's one thing when your power band's real small or something to have a lot of gears.
Oh yeah, I love the transmission. That's another thing. This transmission is butter smooth.
I know. I haven't felt a single shift. We're dealing with a little bit of sunshine here. Concrete section.
If you close this, it's a little bit quieter, but not as bad as other vehicles in terms of wind noise.
Right. And the tires seem good.
The wind is roaring today right out of the west, so it's going to be harder to hear any sort of tire noise, but there hasn't been, I've hardly noticed any. Cool. Maybe in some sections, but who knows, it could be the highway.
That's the other advantage of going with a highway terrain as opposed to an all-terrain, is the noise. Can you bring up digital speed in the middle?
You cannot.
Huh.
That was a next-gen F-150. They added that.
Just funny, because it's like, the speed is going up there.
Yeah.
They couldn't have just programmed that in. So, what are your plans with it? I mean, it's like, just drive it until...
I'm going to drive it into the ground.
Yeah? How have you come up with a number in your head of, like, if it needed X amount of dollars in repair, that's where you draw the line?
Yeah. It's tough to say. It would just depend on, my personal situation, how long I've had it. If it got to the point where, like, okay, I'm ready for something else, and it just doesn't feel worth it anymore. But obviously depend on the repair too.
Sure.
Probably around what I paid for it.
That's about what I feel like putting $2,000 or $3,000 into it would make sense. After that, it might kind of be like, especially if it were something that isn't engine related.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, okay, well, I put this money in and I still have a 310,000 mile EcoBoost.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the engine feels so good that if someone told me that it did have a whole rebuild or whatever, I would believe it.
Yeah.
Now, you do occasionally get in some turbo issues, right? But you just kind of run it out, or you clear the code or something, and it goes away?
So yeah, every now and then, these are 300,000 mile turbos.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then, they might spool weird, or I'll get weird, weird boosts on the highway, or sometimes under boosts.
Okay.
And then I'll get a code, which I'll get a limp mode with a random engine code, which I've also heard some people complain about on diesel F-150s too.
Okay.
I don't know what that is. Nobody can pinpoint exactly what causes it.
Uh-huh.
All I can think is that the computer doesn't like something and it puts it into limp mode. Okay. Sometimes it does. Most of the time, it doesn't even throw a check engine light. It just shows a code in the in my code scanner. But I clear it and it's gone, and it's fine for a little while.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I like it. I'm happy
yeah,
for you.
This
is a cool generation of F-150s. Before the 10-speed, before the aluminum. It's just a nice balance between feeling comfortable and borderline luxurious, but also still feeling like a truck. This was kind of right when they really started to get nice. Cool. Well, thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see a little bit more on this truck, we're going to shoot a no-talking winding road video. Big shout out to Continental for the tires. We'll be sure to follow up after some time, see how they've been doing. You might want to turn that easy comfort seat off if you can, so it doesn't end up like my Lincoln where it broke. It eventually wore out the seat tracks. Maybe someday when we come back, we'll have to do a sound test on the Sony audio system here. Very cool. And we'll see you on the next one. We're Charlie and Nathan with Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.